Ready? I know, right? Hey, everybody, it's Walt Blackman, and we are here for a second session. We're going to have some good time. We're going to talk about CRT, but my man here, Dave's got something to talk about. You know, he's into politics. He did a speech last week, and he's going to talk to the people about that really quick, and then we're going to get into CRT at the America Brothers First?
America First Brothers.
America First Brothers. I don't know why I can't understand. America First Brothers. Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
My brother needs some help.
I need some help.
Now, last week I spoke at the Tea Party over in Payson, and we had a guest, what you would call, reporter who showed up, and I was warned ahead of time that this reporter is anti-conservative, anti-Republican, and we had our speech and a time of questions and answers. And on Friday morning, this gentleman, if you want to call him that, put out a 1 hour basically hit piece on me, and everything that he reported was a lie. It was negative. And the reason I know it, because I spoke at that event, and every event that we speak at, we have it recorded, video recorded. But that hit piece only stayed up for about an hour and a half.
I wouldn't even give it an hour and a half. I gave it 20 minutes.
Yeah, and immediately it was taken down. So I just want to let you know, if you got to view that despicable, lying hit piece, that's why President Trump says almost all media, if not all, are fake news and bunch of liars, because they cannot stand a conservative voice in this country. So any way that they can try to cause any damage to it, they will lie, they will deceive, they'll do whatever they can to try to draw attention, negative attention, your way.
Yeah, and that's what they're doing. Fake news is out there, everybody. You got to do your homework. I've been saying this for about, as long as I've been doing this, for about the last 3.5 years. You have to do your homework. And what you need to do your homework on is CRT, critical race theory, something we're going to be talking about tonight.
Yes.
So if you don't know what critical race theory is, it's a program that the left, they're starting to put into schools. They're trying to push it into our kids K through 12. They are trying to portray white folks today in 2020 to have owned slaves, and they need to say sorry.
Well, what they're doing is they're telling I'm sure a lot of people are, hopefully you're watching what's happening around the country. A lot of parents are rising up against the school boards because of CRT. Now, CRT came about in the late 70s, early 80s, and Professor Bell and Delgado were two of the people were instrumental in bringing this together. But initially, CRT was in regards to blacks being incarcerated longer than whites. It dealt with the government against black policies. It was also corporations. But now it's grown into something that is an indoctrination in our schools now, where they're telling young white kids that you are the oppressor and the blacks are the oppressed. They're telling them that they are guilty of their forefathers' sins.
But what they're really doing, though, also to these kids is they're twisting it. So what's happening? Black and brown kids feel like that they are the victims, and that these kids that are being taught this CRT, the Caucasian kids, have done something wrong, and there have been a number of incidents because of that, because kids they're acting out what they're being taught, and this is what the left wants. They want to paint a picture to the American people that, number one, blacks are victims. They were victims back in slavery day, and that we are still all victims, but we're not victims.
No, we're not.
And the left wants to perpetrate that, and they want to pin that pin on the donkey on kids in school today, and it's wrong, and we need to do something about that.
Well, and again, like Walt just said, they're demonizing the young white kids.
Mm-hmm.
You guys are guilty of the oppression. You are guilty of iniquity against the black race. I said this last week. I said that I believe that this administration, even through K through 12, but not even that, through corporate America, that they are trying to divide the black and white race.
Yeah.
They're making it a black and white thing, and it's not.
So the governor passed a bill, or we signed a bill this past session, that CRT could not be taught in our state supported organizations and at the universities. They couldn't do that. And that it shouldn't really be taught in schools. But what the left has done is they have a laundry list of lawyers ready to litigate any kind of suit that a parent brings to the school or teacher or an organization that will bring any kind of suit so they can fight against it. So what they have done, they have sent a message out to these radicals, these anti-American folks, to say that go ahead and teach CRT and we'll bail you out if you get caught.
Yeah.
And that's what they're doing. That's what they're doing. We passed the law in Arizona. We hope they don't do it, but you know, people break the law. And I see teachers breaking the law on this and getting the help from the Tom Sawyer, their dollars, to bail them out of legal problems by doing this. And it's a shame that this is happening. And it's insane. It really is.
Well, you're talking about being bailed out. Well, the NEA, which is the National Education Association, the largest teachers union in the United States, has already spoken out. This is on the news channels. This is probably a few weeks ago. Spoken out that they have millions of dollars in reserve for any teacher that is arrested breaking the laws in any state where CRT has been deemed a crime. Now,
yeah.
multi-millions of dollars are ready to bail these teachers out. Otherwise, it's like giving them a free ticket to go ahead and continue to indoctrinate our children. Don't worry about the consequences because we have the money to get you out of jail. We have the money to also take this to court. And but you know what I say? Let's spend their money.
Yeah.
Let's spend their money. Let's see them in court.
But I think we need to look at the long game of this. We know that the left is always up to something. Okay, the COVID. I'm not saying the left perpetrated the COVID, but they politicized it. Okay, and they're still trying to do that. They're bringing back the D variant, whatever. They're talking about mask mandates again. They're talking about shutting down parts of society. The left has a long game on this, and it just isn't the CRT, teaching CRT to our K through 12. It is something long range that they are looking for, because if you look at the history of the Democrat Party, the liberals, you will see that every major component that they have torn down this country with, there have been a long game. There's been something that initiated, and this is one of those things. And we are going to find years from now that this CRT has something to do with something that's happening later on. And how can you change your vote? How can you get the votes that you want? And when you teach that white America is racist with a racist history to black and brown, that's going to cause those kids, and they get indoctrinated. It's going to cause them to come out later on when they're adults and vote.
Well, you said it too. There is a long game. They start in the K, and they go all the way through high school and college. It's in college right now.
Yeah.
Okay? That's a long game. What they're doing is they can capture the heart and the minds of your children right now, indoctrinate them, and get them thinking the way they want them to think. Well, I'm the oppressor, so, or like the saying you hear now, you need to be less white. How do you be less white? Stand out the sun for a little longer? Hey, man, you too white. And that's what basically is what they're telling. They're demonizing the white race, which, is there racism in this world? Yeah, but it's not a black and white thing. It's all cultures.
Yeah.
And they're making a black and white thing. But why are they making a black and white thing in our country?
Because it's going to benefit them later on. It's going to benefit them at the voting polls. It's going to benefit them in policies. Look at the policies that they're passing right now. With an executive that's he's asleep. I don't know where he's at. He's asleep. But we've got a Democrat Congress and a Democrat Senate. We've got an executive that's held hostage the American people with all these crazy things like this CRT, and that is what they want to do. They want to instill a message, a poison pill into our children, into society, that we are a racist society and that blacks and browns are being suppressed, and that is the furthest thing from the truth. That is the furthest thing is what's really happening in our country today, and they're just perpetrating another, like the left lied about you. at your speech. They are perpetrating a lie. They work with big tech and the media. They're all in cahoots together with it. And what they want to do is make the Caucasian folks of our country feel like that they are to blame for what happened over 200 and something years ago. And it's a shame that they're doing that.
Now, you may agree with me or disagree with me on this. I believe, though, this is me personally, and I've said this before, I'm outspoken. I believe that this administration is trying to cause a race war.
Oh, yeah.
A race
war. They are.
Why? Yeah. Blacks, you have been oppressed. Whites, you're the oppressors. And now the whites are getting upset because now, they're talking about let's give more to the blacks. Let's do more to the blacks. Let's take more away from the whites. Like the white farmers, the reparations that they gave to the black farmers just recently.
Man. What?
And the white...
They gave reparations to black farmers?
Yeah. They gave money to them. And they're being sued now by the white farmers because they believe that it was discrimination. And it was.
Oh, my goodness.
It was.
You shouldn't have told me that.
I'm sorry.
I mean, I was thinking about the reparations, but I didn't know they already done it.
Well, I heard they're going to give out $125,000 per black person in Oregon. So I'm moving for a while, and I'll be back. But seriously, they were talking about that. That was also, look, it's all on the news. $125,000, upwards of $125,000 per black in Oregon.
But
for what?
Well, it's all part of the big plan, Dave. Because think about it. Think about the checks that went out for the COVID. It got people hooked on the government. Yeah. We can't even get people back to work.
Like crack.
It's like crack. Look at the checks that went out with the child tax credit that you get to claim at the end of the year. They're paying people, what, $200 or something every month? Automatically?
$3,700 a year per child.
Exactly. Now, this is just another tool to get people hung or I was going to say a bad word. We can't say that on the deal. But caught on the federal breast. Yeah. But no, really, it's like a welfare. Welfare was, to me, is slavery. It's another form of slavery for black and brown and folks that are in that situation, that are on it for generations, okay? This stuff is an open door to reparations, farmers. You owe me, since I come from a lineage of a family that were slaves. I don't even know who was slaves in my family. In most cases, a lot of black folks, their family didn't come from slaves.
Correct.
You understand what I'm saying?
Correct.
But so this is my question to you. So if they want to do reparations because of all these lost wages and slavery, are we going to get reparations from Africa? Think about it. Because Africans in Africa, they were the slave catchers.
Well, wait a second now. A little bit further. Are the Irish, the Native Americans, going to get reparations too? Because they also were slaves.
So where does it stop?
Yeah.
But
that's why I'm saying they're making it a black and white thing.
And it's not. But what will happen, all the white folks, y'all going to be paying a lot of money to people if we let this continue to happen.
Well, it seems, it seems like what they're trying to do is make our white friends, our white neighbors, bitter towards the black race.
That's what they are trying to do.
When they should be looking at the government who is instilling these programs. And there's a lot of blacks that are taking it. A lot of blacks that, hey, give me a free check. Yeah. Who wouldn't want a free check?
Well, we see it now. People aren't going back to work.
And now they're talking about extending the unemployment.
Oh, yeah.
And people wonder why employers cannot hire anybody.
Exactly.
Because they're getting all this money and they're buying their trucks, they're buying their boats, they're buying their quads, but it will end one day.
It will. It will, and it's going to end. It's going to be bad. It's going to be bad for America, not only for black and brown. It's going to be bad for the American taxpayer. It's going to be bad for our economy. It's just bad all around. And CRT is the opening to a lot more of race division in this country. They are pushing it. They know what they are doing. It's criminal. It's socialism. It's communism to me. And it's to get everybody dependent on the federal government because that is their plan.
It is.
They don't care about equality. They care about control. And that is what the left has been driven on since they've been around.
But what's nice? that I'm seeing, I'm sure you've been seeing this too, you're starting to see black mothers and fathers around the country at school boards denouncing CRT. They want nothing to do with it. They want to get rid of it, and they are screaming. Matter of fact, it got so nasty at some of these board meetings, the board members resigned, and the parents voted and placed in their own board.
In the liberal left. And it's just like when the liberal left said that blacks want to defund the police, and they wouldn't interviewed a bunch of black folks in different communities and some of these high crime areas. They said, we don't want to defund the police. We need more police in our communities. This is the same thing. They are speaking for the black and brown communities, and they have not talked to the black and brown communities because they assume that we will go along with what they want. But we're not. We are free thinking. We're conservatives. We love this country. And what they are doing, again, is a crime.
It is a crime. And I'll let you know, for me and Brother Walt, we speak for ourselves. Nobody speaks for me. The government doesn't speak for me. The White House doesn't speak for me. I speak for myself. And I am not oppressed. Matter of fact, I'm doing very well. I own a house. I have a car.
You own a house?
Yeah, but I have a car. And no payments.
No rest of, no. Nothing. You own it? Oh, man.
I got my boys. They push me out of the driveway every morning. Shoot. Dang.
And see, they don't talk about that right there. The left will not talk about a successful black American, particularly a successful black man.
Well, you got to remember, too, when President Trump was in office, black small businesses increased by 400%.
The gold standard.
Unemployment dropped below 3%.
Exactly. That's why
blacks and Hispanics also.
That's why they didn't want him back in the White House, because he was making gains not only for black Americans but for all Americans. He did it, and he's a great president. I hope he runs in 2024 to put it into this type of nonsense CRT. I really hope he does.
And speaking to everybody right now, before we close out tonight, if your school is teaching CRT, get involved with your PTA.
Yes.
Get involved and go to your board meetings. Don't be an absentee parent.
Yes.
Go to your board meetings and let them hear from you, because they can be removed from office.
Exactly.
They can be removed. We need to keep CRT out of our schools. It is nothing positive. We need to bring back history, government, English, math, all the stuff that these kids need to know.
The Constitution.
That they can further, and a Constitution, government. So that these kids can further their education and be productive citizens in our country.
Larry Elder said it best. Hard work wins.
Yes.
Hard work wins. So it looks like that we're getting ready to wrap up. I want to thank you all for coming in. I'm Walt Blackman, and this is my boy, my brother, Dave Marshall, pastor.
He called me boy.
Well, yeah, because we're talking about CRT.
You're racist.
Well, no. I think Mr. Beard, am I racist?
Mr. Beard says he is.
Mr. Beard says I am. I guess I am, so I don't know.
I want a reparations check.
Hey, if you asking me for dollars, I don't know about all that. I got bills to pay. I pay my own bills, thank you, Mr. Biden. Okay, everybody, have a great week.
Hey, we're glad you're listening. Pass this on to your friends. Share this. Share the page with your friends and all that. We'll be doing something weekly. Next week, you'll hear from us again. We'll have a different topic to share. And, write your comments, any comments you may have.
I think we should talk about law enforcement.
Let's talk about law enforcement next week. What do you think? Back in the blue.
And back in the blue.
Back in the blue.
And how law enforcement officers get it in the end every single time by the lying media. I think we should be talking about that. How about?
We're going to stick up for the blue.
All right.
Next week. So thanks for being with us today. God bless you, and God bless America.
That's right.